Hi everybody, Mr. Seward here. And what we're going to look at today are two different types of modeling. This is going to be the first one. It's called additive modeling. Really in three-dimensional CAD, there are multiple ways to create parts. The two primary ones being additive modeling and two subtractive modeling. So we're going to draw one of these parts, one of these six parts, using both techniques. Neither is better than the other in this instance. They're probably about the same in terms of their technique and usefulness. You'll probably find that you prefer one over the other. I really don't know how I am about that, but this is how we're going to talk about, or we're just going to show you how to do this same part using both additive and subtractive techniques. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do additive techniques. So I'm going to create this. Remember, each one of these blocks is 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. So they're 3/4 inch cubes, which means that the distance from this corner here to this corner here is 0.75 times 2, which is going to be 2.25 inches. So I'm going to start a sketch here in my Onshape program. I'm going to click on front, and then you can either select the view cube there or right click and say view normal to, which is going to spin this thing around for me. Now I always start not always start with a rectangle tool, but in this instance I'm going to use the rectangle tool and instead of 4 lines. And I'm going to go here to the origin, which is in the middle here, and you'll see it light up. I'm going to pull it up and out, and I know that the X direction going across from left to right is going to be 2.25 inches long. So I just clicked, and I get a little dialog box. So you see it's got the little square around the numbers for me right now that are 4 point whatever. I'm going to type there 2.25, and then I'm going to hit the enter key, and that gives me my block that is 2.25 inches long. Now I'm going to come up here. Whoops, I'm going to escape a couple times. I'm going to go to my dimension tool and click on this, and now I'm going to make this 0.75 inches tall. So the dimension tool is right up there. It's the third one over from your sketch tools. I'm going to close the sketch. I'm going to look at this isometrically, and I just clicked on the view cube there on the corner of it, or you can right click and say isometric if you prefer. Gives you a little different view, but they're similar enough. Now I'm going to extrude this cube out, and its depth is going to be 0.75. All right. And I'll green check mark this. Now I like, because I'm done with these work planes, I like to turn these off, and I just put my cursor up here. I just touched this, I didn't click, and now I got this little eyeball, and you'll see them disappear, and that just turns off their visibility. Now what I've got to do is I got to add these two little blocks on the top of my part, and I'm going to want them over here behind this long cube. So I'm going to spin this one time, and I'll zoom out. And by the way, you can click on this, and you can spin these things. Let's see, what is it? Middle mouse button's pan. Right mouse button allows you to spin things around, and then you can of course just click on the view cube's corners to get things back to normal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sketch plane on this surface. Sketch planes like my piece of paper. I am going to then right click and say view normal to, and now I can start doing my sketches. So I need to draw block here. So I just put this up on that upper left hand corner, and I went down to the lower right and just chose a place. And you can see that this line here, and this line here, Those are black. That means they're constrained, but this one's blue, which means it's not constrained. So a little dialog box appears. I'm going to put in 0.75 there and hit enter, and now everything is fully constrained, which is what we want. My rectangle tool is still active, so I'm going to click again and pull down and select, and I'll put my cursor on this upper one here and put in 0.75 and hit enter. And for some reason it's asking me for this one on the right hand side. I don't know why. Oops. It shouldn't have, but it did. So we should be all set right now with this. I'm going to hit the green check mark. I'll look at this isometrically, and you can see the hidden lines right here and here. I'll spin this by clicking on my view cube right there. And then I'm going to go and catch my extrude tool. I'm going to click inside of that box right there and there. And in my dialog box, I'm going to make sure it says add. If I do this as new, it's going to come out differently or incorrectly. So I'm going to click add. And there are the two surfaces that I just clicked on. This is going to be a blind extrusion, and the depth is going to be 0.75. That's 75, 0.75. Ooh. Okay. My keyboard has decided to give me trouble here. Why is the decimal not working there? There it is. All right. And green check mark. And now when I right click and say isometric, there is my cube drawn using additive techniques.